Hey, this is the Daily Overpass. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now today, I want to say why I say I make apps. Alright, so today I want to answer a question that came in just yesterday from Furkan Ahmed, who says, why do you always say, hi, my name is Eric and I make apps, instead of, hi, my name is Eric and I build or develop apps? Why do you always use make? I am a developer too, and it's pretty new for me when you use make instead of the general terminology of programming. Just a question. Good question, Furkan. To be honest with you, most of the time when I talk about software development, I use the term build or develop, but I think in one of my early videos I said I make apps, and I just like the sound of it. It almost sounded like it's easy to do, like I make cookies. I make apps, and I just like the sound of it. It had a nice ring to it. It simplified everything. In a lot of my corporate life, and if you've been in corporate life, you probably know this too. You go to a lot of meetings and a lot of people feel very full of themselves. I can remember working someplace where one guy he got a new job title and he argued about it for an hour about the fact that it was going to look bad on his CV that he was no longer going to be the IT director, but he was going to be the head of IT, right? Or something like that. To me, it made no difference at all what the job title was. He still had the same job, but he was really arguing about the fact that his job title had changed because it sounded less important. Whatever it was, I can't remember which way it was moving, but it sounded less important to him than the other one because that was his identity. And he would talk like a cop in the meetings. Like he would say, like, we then proceeded to ascertain the reasoning behind the architecture. And all of that stuff in corporate life, after a while, it just started to drain on me. Like everybody wanted to be so important that it kind of made me laugh a little bit just to say, I'm Eric and I make apps, right? Just let's get all the pretense out of the way. We do what we do and we build what we do. We build what we build, right? And it's not all about, you know, my identity. It's more about what we do. And to be honest with you, a lot of the times I'm not the developer on the projects, and so I can't say I build, although I have done, or I can't say I develop, but I can't say I make, the same way a producer would say I make a movie. But it's a really good question, Furkan. What terminology should we use? Because when I first got into IT, when I heard somebody say we're going to build, they were building software as like a desktop application, I thought it sounded strange to me, like you're going to build it? You're gonna build it like I mean, I wasn't this sarcastic, but it was like in my head. I wouldn't say this because I was still naive and trying to fit in. But in my head, I was thinking, build sounded like a strange term. I'm gonna build this software. I'm gonna roll up my sleeves and I'm gonna build this software. But in retrospect, it makes perfect sense because we are, you know, a software project has an architecture, it has people working on it, everyone has to pull together. It's not like making cookies. You know, everybody has to work together and you have to know where you're going, you need to have a plan, etc., etc., etc. So I think build and develop are better terms. And when I say I make apps, it's not to belittle the task, but just because I just like the sound of it. All right, so my question to you guys is, what do you think is a better term, to build or to develop or to create or make, right? Or do you think it makes any difference? Because, you know, I think it's more about the act of producing the software than it is about how we describe what we do it or how we describe our job titles or how important we sound when we talk about doing it. It's making it happen. It's going from, the great thing about software developers is that, and I've mentioned this before, we're alchemists. We start with nothing and we create something out of thin air, or I guess some disk space really, but you know, so let me know what you guys think. Anyway, great question, Furkan. Anyway, that is it for today. I will talk to you guys again tomorrow.